Hello, everybody. It is good to be here after a beautiful week. I'm glad to see you. We're going to talk about something that you can understand today in the realm of nutritional science. Hi, I'm Dr. Fareed Zarif, and my thing is nutrition. So here we go. We're going to talk about some of the things that you may think isn't so important, may not have even heard of it before, but this is a wonderful subject and a subject for you to understand and pass along that knowledge to your friends and family. Now, endothelial tissue is a tissue that actually outlines the wall of the lumen. The lumen is the wall of our vascular system, like arterioles, capillaries, your arteries, so forth. So when we eat food that is the farther away from nature it gets, the worse it is, like processed food, these very refined foods. Guess what? It does damage to the endothelia. Those endothelia tissues are damaged now and they crack up. They, instead of having a smooth surface, guess what happens? It starts to harden and it becomes very brittle. Now, over time, what happens is that it gets worse and it gets worse. And that's called atherosclerosis, also called arteriosclerosis. So, which means it's the hardening of those particular vessels. Now, in order to change that, we can just select better foods, as simple as that. All you have to do is remember, the closer you are to nature, the happier you'll be, the healthier you'll be, and then you'll feel better, you'll perform well, and plus you'll save your life. Wow, that's a plus, isn't it? The thing about the foods that we have today, they appeal to our five senses. So when we see it, ooh, it looks great. When we smell it, it makes our mouth water. When we taste it, man, it's just totally delicious. When we hear it crunch, or we hear the way that it sounds, it even makes our mouth water. And then when we touch it, is just right. That's the texture that makes us feel that what we're about to eat is absolutely delicious. So we are victims of those people that speak about foods in a way that's a little deceptive. Meaning that sometimes what is on the label, you can't trust it. You must do your research. There are some things that aren't even listed on that label. And the reason for that is because there are laws that say that if there's a certain amount of that particular substance in the food that you're about to eat or whatever you're about to drink, it doesn't have to be listed. Now, there's been proposals that have been passed to change this, but guess what? Outvoted, outspent, out politicized. So we have to take on the responsibility that every time we buy something, we are voting for it. So when you buy something that you know has been deceptive, stop purchasing it, and that'll send the message that get your act together if you want us to continue supporting this particular brand. Now, the other thing, there's many things that we can do as far as being, how can I say this? There's other things that we can do to be involved with our own health. Now, we're talking about our health. Some people can eat, wow, almost anything, and it doesn't show up in their body, right? It's just like they don't get acne, they don't get extra fat, none of that stuff. And you're like, how do they do it? Well, it's called DNA. They get it from either recessive genes or their mother or father. They're getting that, and they are very lucky to be born with it. But here's the downside. If it doesn't apparently show, if it isn't obvious, guess what? It will be something that is hidden. And perhaps if you're fortunate enough, it'll be only hidden to the people that are observing you. But if it's hidden to yourself, then that could be to your disadvantage, right? You want to know everything that you can about yourself. Get to know yourself better. Get to know the foods that you are eating. How do they affect your body? It only makes sense because if you don't do that, especially if you continue to eat things like cereals, the other candy bars and chips and fried onion rings and burgers and deep fried potato, you got potato chips and you have French fries. All of those things will damage the endothelium. And remember, if we don't have vessels for the blood to go through, then we're through. We need to acknowledge that we are important enough to look at these issues. Now, as you continue to listen to me, I know some of the things are coming to your mind like, oh man, here we go again. Don't eat this, don't eat that. Well, it's a little different here now. I don't want you to eat anything that is detrimental. That's what I'm just simply posing. Anything that will hurt you, anything that will make your blood pressure go up or your blood pressure go down, or too much sugar, too much fat. I call that the SOS effect. Now, the SOS effect is sugar, oil, and salt. So we have to be aware of that, along with all commercial, the things that the difference between commercial and organic is that commercial foods in most cases have been treated with fungicides, pesticides, and herbicides. Organic foods have not been, or they use different techniques that can avoid using the dangerous chemicals that will definitely make a difference in the way that we feel, the way that we look, and the way that we perform. The endothelium should be looked into. Take your time to look over more information about it. As you continue to eat food, know that there is a reaction. For every action that you take, there's some kind of reaction for that. So you're not, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it isn't there. I think that we would do better as a people if we only could feel exactly what the food was doing that we're eating. If there was an immediate negative effect, if it were an immediate negative effect, I believe that we would do better. But since we can't see these things, since we can't see what it's doing in our stomach and what it's going to do after it's broken down and how it's going to affect our blood system, we'll go ahead and eat it, thinking that it's all right. And if you don't get sick from it, oh man, it's on. You're going to keep on doing it. If you're eating something that it doesn't make you feel like you're getting fat, you're going to eat it. And unfortunately, after the fact, it's too late. Here are some things that you can do. Number one, first choose organic food. Number two, choose plant-based foods over non-plant-based foods. Number three, if you are eating animal food, increase the amount of plant food. That's your fruit, vegetables, grains, legumes, beans, pintos, lentils, limas, you know. The other thing that I want you to keep in mind is making the decisions that you make. This makes a big difference in the consequences. We live the consequences of our decisions. Now, I know that it is a very important part where you make a decision and you really want to hang out with friends or loved ones and you're emotionally connected with the food. But guess what? You can make better decisions by simply eating smaller amounts of that, just simply using your inner power and saying, no, thank you. And I know we all have that aunt or grandmother or somebody that tells you that their feelings will be hurt if you don't eat what they have prepared. But do your best to embrace the moment and continue to enjoy your company with your parents and your loved ones, but also take a little time to explain to them why you're not eating it and that you appreciate what they do, but you want to be as healthy as you possibly can. I'm Dr. Fareed Zarif, and if you want to find out more information, simply click on the link in my bio and start or schedule a meeting, a free strategy session that we can sit and talk and find out how can we help you to make better decisions when it comes to nutrition. Check out me on www.executivelifediet.com and leave me any questions or comments down here, right here on YouTube TV. This is our Executive Lifestyle Diet channel, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And thank you very much I'm thanking you in advance for subscribing, and you will hear and see everything that we have coming out. Thank you so much. Until the next time.